Faiza, can we start with how are you?
It's really hard to put that into words. I'm all over the place. I just have moments of just being utterly devastated, and then other moments just feeling really angry. And yeah, I just kind of feel a lot of aches. Don't know how to put it. I just feel a bit sick in my stomach, and my heart hurts a bit. Yeah, it's been a lot.
But it's painful because you've been fighting for the Labour Party for a considerable number of years. I mean, can you take me back a little bit? How long have you been a member of the Labour Party? How long have you been contesting this seat?
So it's more that I've been fighting in this seat for so much, and this seat means so much to me. I joined the Labour Party under Corbyn, so I haven't been a member for like lots and lots of years. But I joined under Corbyn, and I got selected for this seat in 2018. So like June 2018, and then that ran through to the election in December 2019. So that was 18 months or so of very intense work here, and of course we lost, even though we did have a swing to Labour. We did lose by 1,262 votes, a number I'll never forget. And then re-selected again in 2022, and so it's been another 2 years. So it's a lot of work, and in between as well. Of course, I mean, I live here, I'm part of the community. I mean, it's it's been a lot of work, and we just finally felt like, okay, finally we're here. It's the last step, and for so many of us as well that have grown up around here and had Ian Duncan Smith be the MP our whole lives, and then before him Norman Tebbit. It's we're just so excited to finally get us out over the line. So it's crushing for various reasons. Yeah.
Can you talk to me about that 2022 selection process? Did any of the questions that came up this week, did they come up then?
No, they didn't. So yeah, they did try, and they had a conversation with me about a few things, and you have to go through the process, but none of what was in this like hodgepodge of things was there. And yeah, it was a tough process. I think part of it, I think people didn't realise I would run, so there was too many. Basically, the right of the party had quite a few candidates, and so then I decided to do it last minute. So I think it was a bit of an element of like, oh, we didn't realise that you would be doing it. But then, I managed to win that selection because I've got incredible support on the ground amongst the membership as well as in general. So that was 2022. And just to say how I got involved in politics, I'm not someone that thought of, I wanted to be an MP when I was 25 and hid all my tweets. And I after my mum died in 2017, I just felt so angry about so many things and the impacts of austerity on people, including what happened with my mum with disability benefits, which of course Ian Duncan Smith was the architect of. And I was really excited about the project and the policies at the time being put forward in 2017 in the Corbyn project, and I just sort of thought, well, if I ever was going to run, I should do it now in my home seat, for these reasons that make it much more heartfelt and meaningful for me. So that's kind of how it all started. And I knock on doors, I find old school friends, and the other day I was out, I was knocked on the door of the parents of my old best friend from school, and they were so excited to see me and meet the baby. And it's a beautiful thing, campaigning where you grew up. It's painful as well because my mum's not here anymore, but it's also just, there's so much connection. It's more than some mechanical idea of politics, and so I think that's why it hurts so much for this to be just sort of taken away from me, and especially for the person that's coming in to have no connection to this area. It's a horrible thing to just be like put in the bin like that,
I think that's really interesting, the mechanical candidates. Do you think that that's what's happening up and down the country? Because you said that when you were 25, you weren't deleting all your tweets, you weren't planning to become an MP. Do you think that the selection process has sort of become focused on kind of a cookie cutter idea of a politician rather than a human?
Yeah, it does often feel, doesn't it, when people don't say what they think, and think much more about power than people. I mean, obviously you want to be in power, of course, you know, you can't enact policies without that, but when that balance goes too far the other way, then I think, yeah, it does become about how can I make sure that no one is going to criticise anything, you know, and I think so part of getting rid of people like me is she's going to be annoying. She's going to be a critical voice. We can't control her. And so, you know, it just makes me a prime candidate to bully, to isolate, to get out on spurious grounds.
Do you think you posed a threat to Keir Starmer?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think it's as direct as that. I think it's just that when they're thinking about the policies that they want or the positions they want to take, they don't want too many people on the backbench that are going to, you know, rock the boat and push back. They just want to have an easy time, you know. And so, yeah, I think there's people. It seems to me that there's people around Keir Starmer. There's a machinery that is like, right, we're well ahead in the polls. We could even afford to lose Chingford and Woodford Green, and we would still do well. So let's just get her out. Yeah.
What does that feel like?
Mean. There's just no consideration to, yes, for me, but also for what the people here want. To have absolutely no thought for the fact that thousands of people want me to run here is, I mean, it's not just the fact that that's dismissive, it's just a type of politics that is so top down, it's so different to the politics that I try and live. I think that's really concerned people here. Mm-hmm. And that's why so many people are really upset about what's happened.
So do you think you'll run as an independent?
I really don't know. It just happened a couple of days ago. I've got a small baby and haven't had a lot of sleep. I need to kind of just see what's the best thing to do. Like, how can I fight back? Yeah, because I don't want to just be bullied. Mm-hmm. And treated this way without some kind of consequence. I just need to work out what that looks like and what's the best thing for people here as well. Yeah, I don't want to just do something for, you know, just purely selfish reasons, or revenge. I just need a bit of time to think through that.
Mm-hmm. In terms of taking action on the Labour Party, I mean, how are you going to pursue that? And over what terms? What specifically will you be?
Yeah, so I think the big thing is the process. I mean, it's difficult because the Labour Party is legally isn't like an employer, it's like a club. So it's different rules, because in any other case, it would be unfair dismissal, no doubt about it. They wouldn't be able to do what they've done to me, especially given all the double standards. But I think with me, with the process, the fact, you know, I get an email in a few hours' time, in 2 hours' time, you've got to send us written evidence, in 4 hours' time, you've got to be in a call, you know, no time to organise childcare, you know, someone's in that meeting, it's online, someone's not even putting the camera on, didn't ask me one question, you know, all these years of work, this level of emotional commitment, and a kind of 40-minute sham process, which it just seemed like they'd already made their decision, where they didn't treat me with any kind of dignity, is not how any employer should act. They're not an employer, but they are the Labour Party, so they should have higher standards, and they seem to treat other people differently, right? So other people have got horrific tweets or have done all kinds of things, and they're let through. And you know, with me, I had a silent friend with me. I can't say who, but you know, experienced at this kind of thing. She looked at, she was like, "There's no way they're going to kick you out about this. I mean, this is ridiculous," but they did.
I think one of the tweets that really struck a nerve with a lot of people, because I mean, there has been an outpouring of sympathy and support, but one of the tweets that they highlighted was about your experience of Islamophobia in the party, and that tweet was weaponised against you.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you think when they first pulled up that tweet?
Well, I had been told off around this time last year for talking about Islamophobia. Well, also because, it was the Rishi Sunak poster thing that said about the paedophile, and I tweeted something about that, and they're like, you're not allowed to do that. So they got pulled out that tweet, and I just was like, how? So they were asking the question through this meeting for each one of these tweets that say how it's going to affect us electorally, nationally, and I said, well, am I not allowed to talk about my experiences as a Muslim in the party as to what I've seen? I've made complaints that have gone unanswered, completely unanswered, and one, which was just in November last year, it took them 6 months to get back to me. I had all the receipts. Someone had anonymously sent me stuff that this person had been saying about me, and they were like, oh, we had a word with them, and now we consider the case closed.
They're in the party?
Oh, yeah.
They're still there?
Mm-hmm. Probably the person that was key instigator of going through my tweets for 10 years. I mean, can you imagine? So, it's... that... And then I also said, I think probably the Muslim community... I mean, I guess they're inferring that you saying that will undermine our electoral success with the Muslim community. And I just said, I think the Muslim community is quite upset about other things, including Labour Party's early Gaza policy. I mean, I don't think it's going to be me that is going to stop. Well, maybe now, but I mean, so that was, it's really striking, isn't it? That they can say that to me, and yet, as it should be, Jewish people are able to talk about their experiences, and they're not shut down in that way. And it's not like you spoke about anti-Semitism, therefore you're kicked out of the party. That's what they were saying to me by pulling out that tweet. I mean, it's to the level that it's mind-boggling. Like, I just can't get my head around that. How can you not see that double standard?
Can you talk to me a little bit about your experiences of Islamophobia while you were in the party?
Yeah, I mean, I think just generally overall you get this sense of like a hierarchy of, which things are taken seriously and not, and just in the way that I had to make complaints multiple times and was ignored. I've just seen it happen, and because it's in stark contrast, and I'm sure that the Black community will also have similar things to say. And it's in the Ford report. It's all in the Ford report, which everyone's forgotten, even though it's a great document and so much work went in behind it. But it's all there. So yeah, I mean, I've just seen it in the way that certain people are protected and not protected. Certain issues are taken more seriously than others, and like I say, when complaints are made. Yeah.
Do you think that's healthy for factionalism? Because that to me seems that that's creating a top-down rift. That's pitting two communities against each other.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I would say I do think this is also about ideology. I think if I was on the right of the party, it would be different. But because I'm also on the left of the party, and so they want to get rid of me anyway, so there's a combination of things, right?
And what you're talking about there, when you're talking about other people who've got away with it, I mean, I suppose you're talking about Barry Shearman, who made a very derisory comment on Twitter about Jewish businessmen not having enough shekels to gain a peerage. I mean, why do you think that he was safe and you weren't?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do think it's because of my positioning on issues like Palestine, like wealth inequality, like public ownership. I mean, I got told off for doing some stuff with NEU, where in a little video explaining inflation, I had said corporate greed. Mm-hmm. So it's that sort of thing. I think I've been just kind of annoying for them for a while, and they can see that I will talk about these issues as we should. I mean, I'm an inequality expert. I teach these things. So I think that's probably why.
Mm. Do you worry about other socialists who are in the party?
I do worry about them, and I can imagine that it's a real struggle, and they have to play it so carefully, just to make sure that they don't end up in a change of circumstance meeting or whatever they call it. I do worry about them, because I think it just takes a toll on your mental health. to be in such a toxic environment.
And just finally, I mean, thinking about the Israel-Gaza conflict, if you're a voter who's concerned about Palestine and is concerned about the treatment of the people in Gaza, do you think that the Labour Party is where you should put your vote?
I really do understand how disappointed people were at the beginning, especially in how that stuck. We can't watch TV and see all those people crushed and dying and children and not feel angry that things haven't changed and that the party didn't take a stronger stance. I know that they've moved somewhat, but it just means that because of that, people don't trust the party on this issue. And yeah, I worry about it. I worry because you have to be really confident and bold to push back. It seems in the world to support, at the top, the people support Palestine, but governments struggle, it seems. So yeah, I think people are right to be worried. That said, of course, I mean the Tories just like blindly following Netanyahu. So yeah, I think people are right to think about that issue in their voting intentions overall. Yeah.
Which is a poor choice, both parties.
Well, I mean, I would hope that there's more room to push in the Labour Party. That's why I wanted to go in and be, pushing. But if voices like mine are being excluded, then I worry about what that means for debates and conversations on things like public ownership of water and wealth inequality and Palestine.